How what's up, y'all? It's popping. It's D. About to react to this vid by Tub. I haven't reacted to him in a minute. This one is titled "The Illegal Dangers of TikTok Shop." See, this is why I don't play with TikTok Shop. I've never trusted it. Okay, whenever I see something that even looks kind of interesting, you know what I do? I go to Amazon and I look for something similar. And 9 times out of 10, they got something, so I get it from there. Because if I don't want it, if I don't like it, I want to be able to easily return it. I know Amazon got me; they got my back. You feel me? TikTok Shop. I don't know who running this. I'm not giving y'all my credit card. Who the hell are y'all? You know? So I knew I was right to be skeptical, but we about to find out what's going on with them. Let's watch.
How is it that after what feels like every 2 seconds on TikTok, they're trying to sell you something? Literally anything they can sell, they will try to sell to you. From these turbo fan shower heads, the socket fan light, rice dispensers, egg dispensers, $29 go-karts, to the insanely popular hair curlers. I mean, it doesn't have to be those specific products, but you get the point.
That brush, I ain't buying none of it.
About 80,000 times.
Leave me alone.
And guys, I can't lie, I too am a victim of TikTok shop. I bought a water ear cleaner that I haven't even opened up, but just because the woman that was using it looked like she was having an orgasm, and I also want to know how it feels like to have an orgasm from some.
I got an ear cleaner too, but I got on Amazon.
Again, another unopened product.
I've never even seen that on TikTok though. I wasn't even inspired from TikTok. What made me get that? I forgot. I think I watched this girl's like favorite video or something, and I was like, I want to check it out. So I just got it on Amazon. But yeah, that's wild. They got you, brother.
A slushy maker. I think that squeeze cup that I'm definitely gonna use for making slushies, not for anything else. Because nothing else fits in there. But you guys get the point. I'm a victim too, so I have a little personal beef with this topic. Well, I decided to do a deep dive on TikTok Shop, and it turns out there's a whole strategy on how the TikTok Shop actually works. That's actually very malicious and dangerous. From pure scams like these $29 go-karts, to goods possibly made from forced labor in China, and even substandard products like hundreds of fake and potentially harmful cosmetic products being sold, or worse, prescription drugs advertised with no proper warnings as required by the FDA. So as you can see, the post supporting what I was saying about prescription drugs being sold on TikTok Shop was in fact deleted. But I did find a video of another creator ranting about how she got an ad for Zofran. Zofran being a prescribed drug. And I'll play a little clip of that.
I just got a TikTok Shop ad for a medicine that I used to be on for nausea, and they would literally put chemo patients on it, and it was prescription only, and you had to get refill. And now they're selling it on TikTok Shop. I'm a little concerned.
That is scary.
Legal or right, or
just like that Reddit post, the creator is alleging that you could find this prescription drug here on TikTok Shop. Though I tried looking it up and I didn't find it. I don't know if it's regional based or what, but just to be completely honest, I personally did not find Zofran on TikTok Shop. So a clear Wild West to talk about. And I'm definitely going to go over the scams that each of those items are involved with. But first I want to talk about how many ads you actually are seeing on your For You page, and why that's a deliberate thing. A psychological game by TikTok and its creators that you cannot win. With that being said, my name is Tuv. I make morbid documentaries here on this channel, and if you aren't subscribed, don't even worry about that. I promise I'll earn your subscription by the end of this video. Like I said in the intro, we're going to be talking about the dangers of TikTok Shop. First, we'll talk about the psychological games, users versus creators versus the algorithm. Then, we'll talk about counterfeits and more. Then, scams for everyone. And lastly, unethical sourcing. So let's head on to the first segment. Psychological games, users versus creators versus the algorithm. Vox, the media house, did a piece on shady advertisers on TikTok sometime in 2022, and I think what they found is the perfect segue into the whole psychological games thing, specifically trust, or more the abuse of it. While doing that piece, they went over a bunch of videos that found that some creators were not really disclosing pieces of content that were ads, as is required by the FTC, and suffered no consequences for that at all. This is one example of the videos they unearthed. On the creator's timeline, it looks like you're regular.
Are we talking faster now for some reason?
Video with nothing more to it other than a brother and sister playing pranks on each other. However, it turned out to have been a full-on advertisement for a brand, the Joker Prank Shop. The hashtag at the end of the caption partly references that. The gun that the girl's using is what is being advertised. It was one of the products by the shop and could be bought at your local Walmart, a fact clearly demonstrated in the video. Now, the whole thing was the work of Influencer Marketing Factory, a marketing agency that, according to Vox, had run other adverts with lots of other influencers in different niches that were never disclosed to be ads as well. And honestly, hats off to Sarah Morrison, the journalist behind the expose, because she gave several very clear examples of the same thing happening with other creators all over the place. There's one where Charlie D'Amelio, for instance, promoted a drink, Muse, by replying to a follower without properly disclosing that she was a brand partner to Muse.
This one's pretty simple. They're really good and I really like them. They have a lot of different flavors and a lot of health benefits. So
she never used the branded content label as required by TikTok. She just tagged the brand. So to any more of the 140 million followers she had at the time, this could have been passed off as her genuinely enjoying Muse. I'm speculating though. Then there's also one with Patrick
what are the health
Meyer,
benefits?
also known as A. Patrick, on several alleged occasions, simply prominently displayed drinks by the Bang brand, including views, in videos that have no ad disclosure whatsoever. In one specific example, he does a personality test quiz in front of a bathroom mirror while the drink is in clear view. The only thing that could hint at it being an ad was the hashtag #VoosHydrate that he places at the end of the caption. Now, I'm pretty sure we get the deal. You need to describe it being an ad in order for it to be legal. You can't just put #hydrated and expect it to go over well. I mean, we did talk about Kim Kardashian being fined $1.26 million by the FCC for failing to properly disclose a crypto ad back in 2021. That was in this video I made, every single influencer who promoted a crypto scam, but I'm sure you guys get the point. An influencer promoting something and not disclosing it as an ad is just morally wrong and scummy and actually illegal. So that video that I mentioned regarding the Joker prank shop is actually a good reference to this because it's a case of a minor, the girl, advertising a product to kids without disclosure that it's an advertisement. I mean, how do you win against that? In fact, even disregarding targeting kids for a minute, how would you, an adult, differentiate between someone who's just showcasing a product that they happen to use in their daily life from someone trying to get you to buy something so they get their commission or because they've already been paid to do so? It's probably impossible without obvious disclosure. And just to be clear, the FCC requires a use of a hashtag. For instance, #advertisement, #sponsored, or #ad right before the caption begins, or in the content before the view more button on TikTok captions. And for good measure, creators are generally encouraged to use the brand label on TikTok to disclose brand partnerships. In 2023, the FCC also said if a video is a partnership or sponsored, this also has to be made clear in the video itself, both in written or verbal terms. Whether someone is watching the video on mute or not, it should be obvious. Who's really promoting these items on TikTok? Well, I'm gonna let you guys know, based on being on the internet for over a decade, I can confidently say it's people that want your money, okay? It's people that want commission. It's really rare, but yeah, I'm not gonna say it doesn't exist, but this is really rare where a person is genuine and they're like, hey, I got this thing and it works. Nowadays, it is extremely rare. If you're being shown something, it's probably gonna be an ad. And yes, people are scummy and they don't put that it's an ad in these new videos that you guys are watching, especially with TikTok Shop giving commission to anyone that promotes that given product. But then psychological tactics don't end there. Where trust can't reach, TikTok's algorithm for sure gets to go. One of the best ways I've seen the algorithm described, and which is arguably true, is that it's, quote, addictive and anti-aesthetic, end quote. The addictive part is sort of obvious because how else would anyone explain the 95 minutes a day that the average user spends on the app? Or even the approximate 19 times that such a user opens the app per day. The anti-aesthetic bit, though, is what I found curious and what really ties into the whole bit that I just described. And also, arguably, fuels the likelihood of a regular TikTok user being deceived by an ad. Think of it this way. The fact that TikTok is largely UGC and runs on informality, that's the kind of content we're likely to
as soon as I open it's an ad. No Taco Bell.
Other platforms. The informality seems to be what blurs the line between a regular post and an ad post. The ads we are seeing on TikTok aren't full-fledged professional camera. The ads nowadays is a middle-aged woman on her phone saying that, yo, this cup is pretty cool. It blends in with your entire For You page. You don't know if you're looking at an ad or not. I feel like I've gotten that point across pretty clear. But now let's talk about if you keep seeing those ads. As an LA Times reporter put it, while one random video advertising something might not get you to cave in, seeing that same video 10 or 20 times that look like real life testimonials about the same item might just become enough to get anyone spending. So in short, the psychological tactics used by TikTok really revolve around building trust through creators that act like...
Whenever I see that little shop commission scroll, I don't care what you're talking about. Even if somebody's casually mentioning something on TikTok, I don't trust it.
Neighbor or friend are recommending something and an algorithm that learns you at a very detailed level and then begins hammering you with those same ads over and over until you cave. And even if you don't cave, well, you're still seeing the ads. There's a chance you will cave. And that's what TikTok Shop wants. It wants you to cave. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, on my For You page, I feel like I open up TikTok to an ad, and I scroll once, I get like a regular TikTok, then I scroll again, I get a live, then I scroll again, I get a commission brand TikTok, I scroll again, I get a regular TikTok, and I feel like I get another creator commission thing. So annoying, but is that gonna stop me from going on TikTok? Probably not. Yes, I am part of the problem, guys. I am aware, but I'm gonna try to do better. People have been complaining about that for a while, actually. Now, while what I have covered is the core of it, I don't believe it's all there is to the psychological games. There are other tactics that, although not inherently bad, strongly nudge users to buy stuff that they didn't even know they needed. There's an article, for instance, that has equated live selling on TikTok to QVC. And the thing with live selling, just like what happens with professional presenters on QVC, is that a creator can really create a one-to-one interaction that feels like just gossip with a friend. But even better, the creator, unlike polished TV hosts, is unfiltered, up close, and again, very informal in a way that doesn't feel like they're selling anything to you. Then there's also the psychology of price, where without going too much into it, TikTok covers some costs, like shipping costs, to keep the product cheaper and entice both shop owners and their customers. They even issue sales and coupons, which are honestly some of the oldest tricks in the book. Some sellers on TikTok have even been quoted saying they stopped listing on other platforms like Amazon, because not only are such platforms complicated and time-consuming to set up, but also lack incentives found on TikTok Shop that drive the prices really low and sales quite high. This is actually a sort of controversial take, but we'll dive more into that once we go into the ethical bits of cheaply priced stuff. And you're probably wondering, well, if we aren't winning on TikTok Shop, then who is? We obviously know that the seller is, but what about those creators that have the commission? Are they making good money? The answer is yes, sometimes. Okay, I've seen some people on my For You page being like, yo, new hoodie, you should get it. And the comments are like, bro, did not even try. But there are some people that are really good at selling, and they're really good at, I'm not gonna say lying, but they're really good at selling stuff to you. This guy, for instance, Brandon Hurst, aka Brandon the Plant Guy, said that in just a couple of months, he sold about 30,000 plants on TikTok Shop via live selling. That's more plants than he had ever sold for the 3 years he had been running his business before joining the platform. There's also another TikTok Shop owner, the CEO of Ocean Healed My Eczema, who said that in just 3 months, he was able to sell over $1 million worth of products on the platform. And one of the influencers working to push the eczema cream, Caitlin Bupre, after she made this video and a couple of others, said that in one particular month, she made $20,000 just from commissions. So clearly, there's a lot of money to be made, and I see why there's a lot of young people hopping on the TikTok Shop train. Counterfeits and more. What's worse than psychological games though? Oh yeah, the product not living up to the hype. However, even worse are the fakes. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but I'm just gonna put it on the screen and say it. Coarse snail mucin is a great example of this. This was a popular cream, and still is, that came from a Korean skincare trend of using snail mucus to heal the skin. Besides whether it works or not, it just went viral. And soon enough, the original thing got so many copycats that finding the genuine product on TikTok was like walking in a minefield. I mean, you can find videos of creators trying to help differentiate between the real and fake thing, but then right under such videos, some users seem to blur the lines even further. The creator is saying the real cream is sticky, but then a follower alleges that theirs was sticky but ended up being fake. Right under that comment, another user seems to wonder which one is the real one. Now, regarding that specific brand, Coarse Snail Mucin, there were reports that the fake product sold quite a lot and it was quick money to some shop owners. One seller moved 37,000 bottles at $5 each, while another moved 40,000 bottles for about $15 each. Now, the video I just talked about is just one among many others that try to warn users about the fakes. But then what's more concerning, despite the inability to rule out the fakes, is the uncertainty of what is in them. What really is in that fake cream bottle that you're putting on your face? As one user put it, if it's not snail mucin, then what is it? A totally valid question when some of these stores were selling the bottles for up to $25. Like I said, there were a bunch of fakes, so you could find the price range be from $5 to even $25 or more. Also, what are the chances that the fakes and the real thing have the same ingredients? There's a reason the real is more costly. I'm no expert in this, but I checked, and if previous studies are anything to go by, then there's definitely a difference between the real and the fake. And this, of course, poses great risks for harm. For example, there was a time when it was found that counterfeit cosmetics can have as much as 19 times more lead than is legal. They can also contain chemicals like arsenic, which causes cancer, mercury, and aluminum, both of which are toxic, and even weirdly, animal feces. Yup, because those who make these cheap versions of products cut corners to do it. They're likely to have unsanitary conditions where animal feces ending up as an ingredient is not unheard of. And just to stretch the point here, anyone should be highly suspicious if something that usually costs $25 is 5 times less its original price at only $5. The study I was talking about actually talks of a situation where a sting operation that included the FBI in its execution, found that MAC lipsticks that were being sold all over at discounted prices had as much as 300 times the amount of lead that is legally approved in the US. The report, of course, ended up strongly cautioning against such products simply because these differences in chemical concentration with the real product can be at times life-threatening. In short, while the fake product could list the same ingredients as the real one, there's normally a difference, and a damning one for that matter. These differences could even potentially cause health complications. Now, while we're on the topic of substandard and potentially dangerous products, I might as well bundle in two things that I found alarming as well. One, there's apparently a growing concern over kids getting cosmetic products from TikTok that aren't suitable for them at all. CBS reported, for instance, that impressionable kids end up buying these, quote, brightly packaged
How they getting the money?
lotions and serums
They broke ass.
from their favorite influencer, but then develop side effects like rashes because the ingredients in the products are not safe for kids. Specifically, things like
they're children. She ain't got no job.
Older skin and can work
It's her
well
mom's
on
fault,
it, but
bro.
are damaging to younger complexions. This is something dermatologists actually confirmed. Now, while this isn't a case of a fake or substandard product, it simply points out a problem which I mentioned earlier. Kids are being influenced on the platform, particularly because they couldn't be more loyal to their favorite influencer. And look, to my young viewers who are watching this video right now, first of all, probably shouldn't be buying stuff Brent Rivera is telling you to buy. I'm just kidding, I don't know if he does TikTok shop stuff, he probably doesn't. But also, don't buy stuff that you can ingest or put on your body. Maybe if you're buying like an iPhone holder, you're probably gonna get scammed, but okay. But seriously, actually, this doesn't even go to my young viewers, to everyone. Please don't buy cream on TikTok shop. Don't buy the special soda, TikTok soda. I don't know if that's a thing, but there was like that pink sauce a couple
Oh yeah, y'all were so
last
stupid.
year, 2 years ago. I don't even remember how long
People
that
was
was.
eating
But
that shit.
I feel like that should be a rule of thumb. But if it's not already, don't buy anything you put on your body or ingest. That should be a rule of thumb. Let's keep going. A big part of this issue, according to reports, is that the Get Ready With Me videos,
Oh, the little
which apparently are
baby!
sometimes as young as 9, has many children viewers, and kids as young as 8 are getting sold into these multi-step skincare routines that have them buying quite expensive products like Sephora and Mecca. There's actually a whole thing that came out of videos like this. People began to wonder if kids should really be using skincare products from the likes of Drunk Elephant in the first place. Vice, for example, asked an actual dermatologist about it, and in general, the answer was that some bits of skincare products could lead to sensitive skin in kids that would be difficult to treat down the road. Anyway, before we get sucked into the skincare and skinfluencer rabbit hole, basically, as I said earlier, the point is that there are psychological tactics to selling to users that have no chance of winning, and kids are even worse in that regard. And this brings me to the other thing I found concerning. Fake reviews. It's obviously one thing to see UGC videos recommending something without disclosing it as an ad, but then it is totally a whole other level if the comments on such video are fake. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because there's a Fortune report which found that TikTok Shop had vendors that had been previously kicked off of Amazon for the shady practice of exchanging products for reviews. An example is Saga Precision Manufacturing with its brands Taotronics and Vava. Same thing with this company, which I'm gonna butcher that name if I pronounce it, and its popular brand of headphones, MPOW. Now I've dwelled a bit on the cosmetic products because they're really a hot commodity on TikTok and everywhere else too, but there are other many categories of products where the same thing is happening. And I'm talking about them being substandard or just dangerous. The Sun, a popular UK publication, for example, reported a case where a lady named Annie had her TikTok hair curler explode while it was, quote, plugged in and switched off. That's obviously the worst case scenario, or maybe near worst case scenario. I mean, she wasn't holding it while it exploded, luckily. But the thing is, it could have. It turned out that for such products, in the UK at least, there's no legal obligation for online marketplaces to make sure that the items on their platforms are safe for people to use. It can sell almost anything and everything. That's unlike regular stores like supermarkets, which need to do thorough tests. That's probably why there have been warnings that TikTok Shop could just be another way for millions of cheap products to make their way to consumers without much scrutiny. I mean, how else do you explain the mini car trash going for 37 cents, a $16 computer desk, or even 3-piece sad sheets going for just $8.43? I'd also bet that's the same reason a bunch of people are buying counterfeit products and not knowing that they're counterfeit. For example, remember the Stanley Cup? Well, besides the love-hate relationship most people have with it, it's a prime example of how cheap can go hand in hand with fake. According to some, what seemed like great deals, coupons, and sales of the genuine cup turned out to be them just falling for fake stuff that looked really close to the originals. And the problem, as framed by this user, is that those who never knew what the original thing was supposed to look like went on to share and sort of become micro-influencers for the fake stuff. This, of course, would get these products in front of a lot more people, and the cycle just kept repeating itself. Now, I'm pretty sure I've already brought up the idea that these tactics used by TikTok and creators cut across multiple product categories. However, I'm bringing it up again because, as mentioned in this Fortune article, not only does the sheer volume of products under each subcategory, for instance, become overwhelming in terms of choice, but also acts as grounds for a lot of listings that are just not true or tailored for search engines and not people. I'll expand on that in a bit, but first, something I found interesting also mentioned in this article is that, rather weirdly, TikTok Shop doesn't list the brand name before someone clicks on the product. What they show instead, and very generously, are the products and free shipping, the ones ones in red and green colors. Then next to the product, there are numbers to show how many times the product has been sold. Also, a countdown clock for the hours it's on sale, and in general, a setup that creates a sense of urgency about buying the item. And I'm not saying that's evil or illegal. A bunch of websites do that. They put a fake countdown to get you to buy, but I figured I'd just mention that if I'm already making a whole video on TikTok Shop. Anyway, when I talk of listings that aren't true, what I mean is something like this description. Women's 3-piece, high-waist, workout shorts, butt-lifting, tummy control, rugged, I don't know how to say that word, rugged butt smile yoga short pants. That's definitely not a real product, just a compilation of phrases to trick the algorithm into praising that specific product. Now, because of the sheer volume of items on TikTok Shop as a whole, it's likely that such things will go undetected, given maybe the company could be dealing with bigger fish, like influencers that fail to disclose sponsored posts.
Girl, you need to fail, child.
Scams for everyone. What comes out of this, though, and a segue to the next dangerous bit of TikTok Shop, are the outright scams. Here, for instance, the guy, going by Colonel Dump, bought a charging station, only for it to turn out to be really low quality, like too flimsy to even hold the phone. So a sort of misrepresenting listing, right? Well, yeah, but there's more. When he went back on TikTok to check out the seller, he found that the store had closed down, and it did so after selling about 150 pieces of that item. This actually turns out to be a weird issue because it even puts TikTok itself in a weird spot. How? Well, TikTok requires shops to issue a full refund within 30 days if the product is faulty or for whatever other valid reason the buyer wants to send it back. But then, what happens if the shop the user bought it from closes down? Because even though TikTok says such a shop needs to fulfill its duty to buyers up to 90 days after its last product was sold and delivered, how do the buyers contact the shop once it's closed? See what I mean? Even worse, what happens if the shop sells 150 items of a banned item, like I just showed you on that Colonel Dump video, and then it gets shut abruptly by TikTok themselves? Where is the buyer supposed to get their refund from? In an investigation, the Sun found cases that were exactly like that. Merchants simply going AWOL on buyers. And not just going AWOL, which I mean closing their shop after products have shipped, like in the case I just showed you. No, we're talking of shops that sell products that just straight up close down without even sending the product to buyers. Now, whether the sellers get taken down willingly or get taken down for selling copyrighted products, it's still a dangerous and annoying thing for the buyer to experience. Also, while what I've just talked about can be a gray line between intentional scamming or just a misunderstanding between dropshippers and TikTok, this next one is outright theft. I'm talking about such incidences where the merchants issue a fake tracking number such that the item will, quote, get delivered, but not to the actual buyer. And to be fair to TikTok, the fake tracking number scam isn't unique to them. Amazon, for instance, has had legitimate merchants complain that there are third-party sellers that list items similar to theirs and then pull off the scam on unsuspecting customers. They don't deliver to the actual customer. Rather, they send it to a random address within the same zip code, and then when the customer complains and asks for a refund due to Amazon policies, the fault goes to the carrier, which means both the fake merchant and the buyer get to keep the money. I'm not sure if that's exactly how it happens on TikTok, but what's for sure is that it happens quite often. The lady ordered the viral crisscross chair, this one, which was going for $13, which is already very suspicious, and she was given a fake tracking number. She of course never got the chair, although she did dispute the transaction with the bank.
It was supposedly $13, and I know if it sounds too good to be true, it's probably a scam. But you know me, I thought that somehow maybe they messed up and they were going to go ahead and honor the price. Well, I was excited when I saw that they had shipped something, and I was tracking my chair, and then all of a sudden it says that my item had been delivered, but it really hadn't been delivered. So I come to find out that they gave me a fake tracking number. They gave me literally a fake tracking number, so I was never ever going to get something. And now that I remember that picture that UPS takes, that box was way too small to even be a chair. So I called the bank and I disputed that because if they thought they were going to get away with like $13, they're not. I'd rather lose $13, I'd rather give them away, but I wasn't going to let no one scam me. So be careful, and if you do get scammed, make sure you call your bank and dispute the charge.
But I'm not sure everyone else would be quick enough to realize that it's a scam and call their bank. I mean, comments on that video showed just how frequently this happens, and I'm willing to bet a lot of people, like the guy who ordered a charging station, would just let it go. It is just a few bucks, right? Now, in an even weirder twist, there are merchants that seem to try every trick in the book to get away with just a few bucks. I'm willing to bet.
I bought those $5 hoodie blankets. I got scammed too. I bought 2 pair of shoes and some light makeup bags. I got scammed twice.
Bet a lot of people, like the guy who ordered a charging station, would just let it go. It is just a few bucks, right? Now, in an even weirder twist, there are merchants that seem to try every trick in the book to get away with saying they got the item delivered. This case here, for instance, is pretty bizarre because after sharing how she got scammed while buying course, the creator that we talked about earlier, this creator got sent an empty package. Now, I could go on and on, but I'm sure you get the point I'm trying to make. There are a lot of cases where people have been scammed by either products that are nothing like the listing, or that never even get shipped at all. But then it doesn't stop there. It turns out that even creators themselves somehow get scammed in the process. And what I'm about to explain should also answer the question as to how new TikTok shops with barely any followers can very quickly gain traction and end up scamming a lot of people. So the case involves a brand known as Sud Scrubs. According to one of their people, they had been wondering how fake TikTok shops were able to rip off people with fake scrubs while having no followers but using the brand's original pictures and videos. Well, their investigation found that these fake shops would send products for review to small creators and ask them to make promotional content for them. To the creator, they're just making a legitimate video for a brand they think is legitimate as well. In the real sense though, the fake shop is using the creator as a way to gain legitimacy among not only the specific creator's audience, but but also the audience and the wider platform. That's how they're able to get people to buy from them that quickly. And what do the creators get from it? Well, yes, the commissions. These fake shops use the TikTok affiliate program in order to get creators to agree to work with them. And again, most of these small creators usually have no idea that what they are promoting are fake merchants ripping off the original brands that are actually on TikTok themselves. Truly a wild west, as I said.
Alright, I'm gonna stop right there. If y'all want to see the rest of his vid, go check out Tuz's vid. I'll link it down below. But in short, don't buy from TikTok Shop. There are many, many scams that take place. I mean, obviously, I'm sure there are cases where people have gotten products that they're happy with, but do you want to take that gamble? Do you want to take that chance? That's up to you. And if you want to play around and put your credit card on this site, I don't trust it. I don't know if they use Apple Pay or how that works, but I wouldn't even trust, putting my payment information on TikTok Shop. But aside from that, these little shops, like, you don't even know anything about these businesses. And you're just like, oh, yeah, this looks cool. I'm going to buy it. What? Bro, save yourself the trouble. Go to Amazon or some other site that you trust. It ain't got to be Amazon, because I know some people don't like Amazon either. I'm a loyal customer. I don't ever have any issues. And if there is a problem with my order ever, they refund me without no questions asked. So that's what I like. But yeah, TikTok Shop, shady. Y'all let me know what y'all think, though. Let me know what other videos you want to watch, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.